Have you ever been in a place where it feels like the pain will never end? Like no matter what you do, it's always there, hanging over you, clouding your thoughts, and making everything harder than it should be? Maybe you've tried everything to escape it, distracted yourself, kept busy, numbed it with whatever you could find, hoping it would just go away. But what if I told you that pain, as much as it hurts, is actually trying to help you? That maybe it's not the enemy you think it is? I know that sounds strange, especially when you're in the middle of something painful. I've been there. It feels like pain is this constant companion that won't leave. And we fight it, don't we? We try to ignore it, push it away, pretend it's not there. But what if we stopped resisting it for a second and just sat with it? What if, instead of seeing pain as something we have to get rid of, we saw it as something that's trying to teach us, trying to show us something deeper about ourselves? Pain isn't this villain that shows up to destroy our happiness. It's not something that's here to break us down. Pain is part of life. It's woven into the very fabric of our human experience. We can't just choose the happy, easy parts and pretend the painful moments don't exist. We need them both. Because the reality is, without the pain, we would never know the depth of the good times. Without sadness, how could we truly appreciate joy? Without loss, how could we fully understand love? Think about a time in your life when you've gone through something that really hurt you. Maybe it was a breakup that left you wondering if you'd ever be okay again. Maybe you lost someone close to you, or you faced a setback that felt impossible to come back from. When we're in the middle of that pain, we think it's the end of the world, don't we? It feels like we'll never get through it. But when you look back now, can you say that you didn't learn anything from it? Can you say that it didn't shape you in some way? Pain is what forces us to stop. It forces us to look at ourselves and ask, what am I really made of? When everything is going well, we don't ask those questions. But when life throws us a curveball, when we're in the middle of struggle, that's when we get the chance to discover something deeper about ourselves. That pain didn't break you. It made you. It changed you, maybe in ways you didn't even realize at the time. But here's the tricky part. When we experience pain, our mind tends to tell us something dangerous. This is who I am. This pain defines me. This is my story. And it's easy to believe that, isn't it? When we're in the middle of suffering, it feels like we'll never get out. It feels like we'll always be this person, defined by this hurt, and that it's part of who we are. But the truth is, pain doesn't define you. You are not your pain. And when you realize that you free yourself, imagine you're watching a movie and the main character is going through a really tough time. Maybe they're heartbroken, or they've lost someone, or they're struggling with something huge. You feel for them, right? You want them to get through it. But even in the worst moments, you know one thing for sure. That character is not the pain. They're not defined by what they're going through. They're just experiencing it. And the same is true for you. You are not your pain. You are not your stress. You are the one observing it. Here's something I want you to try. The next time you're feeling overwhelmed or in pain, instead of fighting it, try just sitting with it. Allow yourself to really feel it. Don't judge it. Don't push it away. Just let it be there. And notice what happens. It's like trying to stop the tide with your hands. You can't. But if you just stand there and let it wash over you, eventually it moves. It's not about making the pain go away. It's about accepting that it's there and not letting it control you. It might sound counterintuitive, but this is where the power lies. Alan Watts, a wise philosopher, once said, "You can't resist the river. You can only go with the flow." Life is like a river. It has its twists, turns, calm waters, and storms. We can fight the current, or we can surrender to it and let it carry us to where we need to go. Fighting the pain doesn't make it go away. It makes it bigger. But when we allow it, when we stop struggling, we find that we can move through it. The thing is, you are not your pain. You're not even your thoughts, your emotions, or the stories you tell yourself. You are not defined by any of it. You are already whole, already complete, even if the ego tries to convince you otherwise. The truth is, you are the awareness behind it all, the one who observes pain, thoughts, and everything else that happens in your mind and body. You are the space in which all of this occurs. And that space is unchanging, always present, and already at peace. When we experience pain, the ego steps in and tries to convince us that the pain is who we are. It says things like, "This pain is my story. This is me. This is my identity. I am the person who's been hurt, and I will always carry this with me." But that's the ego's trick. The ego is the part of us that wants to create a false identity, a character that is defined by past experiences, trauma, or suffering. It wants to hold on to the pain because if it doesn't, it risks losing its grip on you. The ego needs that identity to stay alive. It thrives on separation, on making you believe that you are incomplete, that something is missing, and that you need to constantly fix or fight against who you are. But here's the secret. You don't need the ego to survive. You are already whole. Your essence, your true self, is not touched by the pain you've experienced. The pain comes and goes, but you, the awareness that observes it all that you are, remains unchanged. You don't have to become the pain, wear it like a badge, or build your life around it. Pain doesn't define you. It's just an experience passing through you. You are the one who is aware of it, and that awareness is where your power lies. Imagine a storm in the sky. The storm might rage on with wind, rain, and thunder, but the sky itself is never disturbed. The storm passes, but the sky remains unchanged. You are the sky. The storm, which is the pain or the difficult emotions, may come, but it doesn't alter who you truly are. You are the vastness, the awareness that holds all of it. The ego, on the other hand, would have you believe that you are the storm, that you are defined by whatever challenge is in front of you. But you are not the storm. You are the sky, the unshakable, unmovable space in which the storm arises and eventually fades. When we allow ourselves to truly understand this, we begin to see that the pain doesn't control us. It's not something that can define our identity unless we allow it. The ego wants to hold on to pain because it keeps you trapped in a cycle of wanting, needing, and trying to fix yourself. It wants you to believe that you're incomplete, that there's something wrong with you, and that your pain is something you must carry forever. But this couldn't be further from the truth. You are already complete. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to create a false identity around the pain. The ego wants you to believe that you're not enough on your own, that you have to create a new version of yourself out of the pain, or that you need to keep suffering in order to find meaning. But you don't need to suffer to grow. You don't need to carry your pain as a badge of honor. to prove you've lived a full life. You are complete right now, as you are. You are the awareness that is watching the pain come and go. And that awareness is where true freedom lies. When you start to see yourself not as the pain, not as the story the ego is telling you, but as the awareness behind it all, you start to step into your power. You stop identifying with the hurt. You realize you are not the character the ego is trying to create. You are the one who sees that character. You are the awareness behind it, watching the play unfold, but not becoming part of it. The key to freeing yourself from the ego's grip is realizing that you are not incomplete, not broken, and not the pain. You are the awareness that is fully intact, fully whole, and fully complete. The pain is just something moving through you. It's not the essence of who you are, and it never will be. Once you understand that the ego loses its power to control you, it no longer has to create false characters and identities to keep you stuck. You become the observer, and in doing so, you realize that you've always been complete. You've always been whole. Pain cannot change that. So the next time pain knocks on your door, don't turn away. Don't fight it. Don't try to push it out of your life. Let it in. Sit with it. Allow it to be there. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but over time you'll start to see that pain is not here to ruin your life. It's here to teach you, to open you up, and to make you stronger. You are not your pain. You are the awareness that allows it to be. And when you realize this, you'll find that pain doesn't have to control you. It's just a part of the journey, a part of the process that helps you discover who you truly are.